Good morning or afternoon. It is Mr. Serban, and we're going to go over some roots, zeros, and solutions. So we're kind of at the end of factoring, so I know I said last time you were done. You will see some factoring pop up, however, we are technically in a new unit. Root, zeros, and solutions all mean the exact same thing. So if we'll go over here to our notes, root, zeros, and solutions are x-intercepts. So roots, zeros, solutions, x-intercepts all mean the same thing. Y-intercepts have no special word for them, so you're never looking for a y-intercept. You're always looking for the x. Now, if you are given a function, a quadratic, anything, plug it into Desmos, look where it crosses the x-axis. So number one, examples. Let's find the zeros of x squared minus 5x plus 6. So I'll go over here to Desmos, and I'll click x squared minus 5x plus 6. And make sure, remember your intercepts, so I've got 3 dots here. Your intercepts will always have a 0 for the y value, which means that it's these 2 dots that are also directly on the x-axis. I can zoom in and see that my zeros are 2 and 3. So 2, 0, and 3, 0. And that is all there is to this unit. Basically, you're going to be typing in to Desmos. So next one. What are the roots of this graph? Well, I don't have anything to plug into Desmos, so I look at the graph. I see -3, and I see +1, which means it's -3, 0, 1, 0. That is all there is to graphs. Look where it crosses the x-axis. Number 3, what are the solutions to this function? Well, I've seen zeros, I've seen roots, and solutions. They all mean the same thing. So I'll go over here to Desmos and type it in. 3x squared plus 27x plus 42. And I was a little zoomed in, so I keep zooming out. I see my x-axis, and I see my 2 dots. And I know it's at -2, 0, and -7, 0. The next example, so we're just going to go over some more. So these would be you try, but I'm going to go over these. So what are the root, possible plural, of the following equation? So what I do, type it in exactly as I see it. And I have 2y equals -7x plus 14. And I've got 2 dots here. I just need to remember that roots, zeros, and solutions are all x-intercepts. I'll only look at the x one, which means that my root is 2, 0, not 0, 7. The next one, what are the solutions? Well, I look at my graph. Here's my x-axis. So I see that it crosses at +2, -3, +2, 0, -3, 0, -3, comma 0. All there is for graphs. They don't have to be written in numerical order. You could write -3, 0 first and 2, 0 next, but it doesn't matter either way. It's still the same thing. On to the last one. My roots, x squared plus 4x. So type it in. X squared plus 4x crosses at -4, 0, and 0, 0. So now I know -4, 0 is 1. And then 0, 0 is also 1. So 0, 0 is both an x and a y-intercept, and it is on the x-axis, which is why it's counted as a 0 root solution x-intercept, however you want to say it. All 3 of those words mean the same thing. That is all with the notes. Now, the examples or the work that is attached, you have 2 sets of work with it. So let's go over it. So I have my function in standard form. Give myself a little more room. I have my zeros, and I have the function in factored form. Now, zeros are just the numbers that appear. So I'm going to do number 1. So I have x squared plus 5x plus 6. And I see my zeros are -3, -2. The color, I can color it that, so let's see. I got a blue highlighter. So, I know that this one has to be this color, so -2 and -3 over here are my zeros. So I scroll down, and I see -2, -3. Now, to find your factors, let me go up here. This is what you have to remember. Factors flip. What that means is I find the zeros, which were -2 and -3, and I flip the sign. So if it's -2 and -3, then my factors are +2 and +3. And there's my answer. To do another one, number 3, because I have a yellow highlighter. So I type in x squared plus 8x minus 20. Scoot Desmos over, and I've got my zeros at 2 and -10. So this is yellow. So I know that it is, and there it is, 2 and -10. Factors flip, meaning my factors are +10 and -2, which, right down here. To complete this, if you don't print it out, you don't have to color it. What you could do is write the function, write the zeros, and then write the factored form. So you could type that into, either do it on paper and send a picture in, or do it in a Google Doc. Now the second one is for a little bit more of a challenge, because we're mainly going to focus on going over zeros when there's not a coefficient in front. If you want to go over that, you want to try it, then what I can do is I'll go over one, and I have my blue highlighter. So, number 1, it's blue. I'm going to type this into Desmos, because, well, factoring that, 25 times -66, you're going to have a lot of things with that. So I'm going to type in 25x squared plus 25x minus 66. I see my zeros are -2.2 and 1.2. What I can do in Desmos is I can type those in. So -2.2, type in -2.2. Click this button over here, -11/5. So I look through. Oh, there's -11/5 right over here. And you could check the other one, or you could just make sure that that's the only -11/5, which is the case. Now for the factors flip, but this is what I recommend if you're seeing this, is I get my pen back out and multiply just the last coefficient of each one of them. So I do 4 times -4 times 1, -4. -6 times 11, -66. Well, that one's blue as well. So you could just multiply the last coefficient, because there is no repeating ones. So that is one way. If you wanted to do it by, say, using the zeros, well, factors flip, so I know x equals 6/5, so I have x minus 6/5, and then x plus 11/5. Then, it's already factored, I just do my bottoms up method, and I get 5x minus 6 and 5x plus 11. That gives me my answer that I found earlier, 5x minus 6 and 5x plus 11. So that is one other way. You could also just multiply the last coefficient of each one and then match it with the correct one. Match it with the correct function. It is up to you however you want to do it. But you can do it the exact same way, either on paper and send in a picture, or you can do it on Google Docs and just match them up. Now, that is all for me. We will continue with a little bit more root zeros and solutions tomorrow, and then we will move into a new unit, which does take a little bit more Desmos knowledge, a little bit more practice. It may be confusing at first, but we will all get through this. Hope you are all staying healthy. Hope everything is going well, and I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, let me know.